Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for joining us here on Throat Punch Mondays. I'm Lynn. Leah is out for today for this week, but I'm joined with Letha and our special guest, Katie. So you might notice that none of us are kind of wearing any makeup, and that's kind of odd, especially for me. But last show we talked about appearance. We also talked about uniform standards. So I'll be doing kind of like a segment on how to do makeup complementary to uniform standards later on. But first, I just want to give a shout out to all the dads out there because it was Father's Day last weekend. So happy Father's Day to y'all. I hope you enjoyed your day and you felt appreciated. So many things has happened this month. In the month of June, we've had Father's Day. Juneteenth just got passed, and that was last weekend as well. It's Pride Month, and we celebrated our fourth Women's Veterans Day this year.
Yay!
But yay! But coming up, we have 4th of July. So don't forget to check out the Veteran Trash Talk store for our new 4th of July collection. So to sum up the last few episodes that we did, we talked about appearance, we talked about uniform standards, we talked about, veterans homelessness. And matter of fact, veterans homelessness in women is a growing problem. So homelessness among female veterans increased by 2% between 2018 and 2019, while homelessness among male veterans declined 3%. So although women veterans only make 10% of the veteran population, their numbers have nearly doubled in the past decade, making them the fastest growing segment of veteran population. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to kind of sum up all the 3 episodes that we did with our special guest, Katie. She's going to go ahead and help us talk about all of that. She knows all too well about all of these subjects. So we're going to ask her about her experience about that. So Katie, go ahead and take it away. Introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, the years you served in the Navy, your experience as a woman in the military, adjusting to civilian life. How difficult and easy was it for the VA when it came to women's health, and your experience when it came to the homelessness?
So my name is Katie. I served in the Navy from 2006 to 2010. I was originally, my command was the USS Nimitz, and that's where I met Lynn. And we did 2 deployments together. In 2009, I got married and became pregnant, and my ex-husband was also active duty military. And then I got transferred to MESG-1, which is Maritime Expeditionary Group 1 in Imperial Beach. So, and then I transitioned out. So, a little bit about my experience in the Navy, and this was just my personal experience. I entered as an E1, and in 2 years became an E5. And when I was at my second command, I was the only person within the whole command who actually promoted any rank or rate or anything like that. So that was kind of a big thing for me. And I guess, I miss the military. I miss the Navy. It was the best part of my life, and there are a lot of positives about it. But I think specifically being a female, from the start, I was given a hard time. I'm talking from the start with the recruiters. I was told, you don't belong here. People like you don't walk in my office. They don't want to join the Navy. They don't want to join the military. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? What do you mean someone like me? I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm smart. What is that supposed to mean? And I think it was part to my look and then part to me being a female. That's how it came out to me anyways. So then boot camp was an experience all in itself. I was in tip-top shape. My health was great. And I think my push, especially with the females I were in, they were not up to par, in my opinion. And that kind of gave me a little bit of a negative connotation to what the standards were for the females in the military.
So when you say up to par, what do you mean? Is it like height,
Um,
weight? Is it like, what do you mean by
I
that?
think it was the weight. I was surprised. And this is just for the female group that I went to boot camp with. And
You're saying that they were overweight, or
yes,
okay.
yes.
And what
We-
year did you go?
Yeah, we need to.
2006.
2006.
2006, yes. So that was quite a while ago, but I was surprised not to see more women in better shape. And I'm not dissing any female in the military, but that was kind of a surprise for me. I was surprised.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I graduated boot camp. I was transitioning to A school. A school was kind of, that more freedom, and with more freedom came more speaking to other people, other rates especially. And I was in Chicago. I was in boot camp there. So it didn't really matter who I talked to or what it was, but it started from the very beginning. I was labeled a slut, someone who got around. I mean, it didn't
Just
matter
for
what I
talking to
did.
people, right?
Yes, just talking to people.
Mhm.
And it was really hard, because I didn't realize that it was such a disease to spread in a matter of saying, just by talking to people. And so I kind of, after that, very shortly just stuck to myself. I turned 21 the day I got out of boot camp, so I was the first to get my Liberty card when I was in A school. So yeah, then I transferred to TPU, which is transferring onto the ship once I got my commands. And Len knows this experience all too well. When I was in TPU, there was a gentleman who was transferring off of the ship, and he sent an email to all the males in the operations active duty or enlisted. I don't know if you remember this, Len. And he told the males in operations that I was going to get eaten alive, and that I had slept with him, and I didn't even know who he was. And I got onto the ship and found out that this email was generated. So
Oh yeah,
that
they
wasn't-
would, if they found out you were a female and going to a ship
yeah,
and they had friends on there, they were going to send an email to everyone like, oh, look at this girl, she's
Yeah.
gonna be on the ship.
yeah.
Well,
So
really?
that
That's messed up.
I didn't even know about the email. I didn't even know who the guy was. He saw me. He knew that I was going to the Nimitz. I mean, I don't even think I had a conversation with him, to be honest with you. And
Why
that
is it
kinda-
tolerated though? Like,
say
I don't
again.
think that wouldn't fly in the Air Force.
Yeah.
They shouldn't tolerate that.
Yeah, it was just I just didn't know until
So
I
they already have like negative connotations and
Right,
stereotypes
I-
about you before you even report to the ship.
exactly. And I had no idea. I mean, I felt stupid. I felt naive, to be honest with you. So that kind of put a taste in my mouth. And once on the ship, there was, I mean, it was almost a daily experience with sexual harassment, being hit on, catcalled, you name it. And I think I grew a tougher exterior because of that. And I had an LPO lock me in his office and force himself on me. I had the XO of the ship at that time call me into his private quarters and ask me about modeling, which was very awkward. And, I was very, very green, very new, didn't know any better. And once I started making friends, and thank goodness for Len, because she was my first friend on the ship.
I was a
Yes,
mentor.
thank you. And she was a mentor, and it helped. And I think that's one point I would make to females going in is find a mentor, because females go through a lot of similar things. So finding a mentor is certainly key.
I agree. I wish I would have known how to deal with stuff when I went in.
Right. And that's I just didn't know. I was so naive, and I
don't know
was
how-
tough. I was tough going in before I went in. So I thought, oh, I got this. And then
Well, especially
just-
if you're from a small town going to an aircraft carrier, there's
Mm-hmm.
5,000 people on that ship.
right.
So-
Well, I'm
yeah.
from the Detroit area, so it wasn't necessarily that for
Right.
me,
I don't know how to
but women,
navigate and like you don't really know how to handle certain situations, right?
Right. Right.
Mhm.
You need a woman mentor who's been there, done that, to say,
Yes,
this is how you say it. This is how you move through the system.
exactly. And I had that in Len, so I'm very grateful.
Good job, Lynn.
Yes, yes, absolutely. She helped me with everything, and became my best friend in the mix of it. So yeah, so then when I got married and got pregnant and transferred to the other command, my direct OPSO, I mean, yelled and screamed in my face. And I never thought I would cry, but I was pregnant, newly married, like, and he made me feel badly for it. And that's something I don't want other females to have to feel like they have to go through, because you should never be shamed for that. So
And that's something that we haven't touched yet on our episodes.
yeah,
But as a woman in the military and getting pregnant, you do kind of get shamed for it, because it's like, oh, you're hindering your career. You can't go on deployment. You purposely got pregnant so you don't go on deployment, you know.
Yeah, you're doing it, get out of work, you know.
Mhm.
my OPSO was more so, oh, you're a good sailor. We really needed you. You let us
Mhm.
down. And I was like, wait, is that a compliment or what? Because it's not
It's
coming
like a
off that way.
backhanded compliment. You're
Yeah,
a good sailor, but
exactly.
you went and got pregnant. You know,
Exactly.
like
So
you're starting a family. You just got married, you know.
yes. And
So
because of that, I found out that there was another female who was pregnant at the same time, and we both got orders, you know, to transfer. And my OPSO actually gave me one of the crappiest assignments he possibly could find. And I found out from someone else that he purposely did that. And this person, who was another mentor of mine, an LTO male, but said, you know, you don't deserve this. You are a good sailor. I'm going to see what I can do to move things around. And it was the same LTO that said, you know, if I didn't think you could handle this, Katie, then I wouldn't give it to you, but I have to give you the hard jobs. Otherwise, everybody's going to think I'm sleeping with you. So, which I actually was like, thank you for explaining it that way, because otherwise I'd feel, why am I getting the shitty end of the stick? But I understood it. It wasn't right, but I understood it. And I was thankful that he was honest with it. So once I transferred to that new command, I had great people, great superiors, LPO, CPO. My CPO I still am in contact with to this day. And so that was where I was the only person in that command that actually promoted. So it was a very good, and then I transferred out. So going to the transition,
tell us about your transition to civilian life.
So
how was that like?
My ex-husband was still active duty. We moved, he had a recruiting job in Michigan, where we're both from, and I immediately went to school. It was not easy. I felt like nobody was taking me seriously. I felt like the civilians weren't taking their jobs seriously. They were taking things for granted, which I never thought of that. I never thought of people actually taking things for granted as civilians, because I was like, I was just a civilian. And then I just,
right.
you know, so that kind of took me aback. And then it went into, oh, you're not a disabled veteran. You didn't see combat. You only served 4 years. You're a woman. And I heard that just about everywhere I went. And I still hear it to this day. Oh, you don't look disabled. You didn't see combat, did you? Where did you go? Blah, blah, blah. So
women aren't on the front lines. Women don't do any of that stuff, right?
Right. Just like and then it's like, I don't have to explain to anybody about my PTSD or my traumatic issues that I went through. You know, I don't have to explain that to anybody.
Right, you don't owe anyone an explanation.
No, not at all. Not at all. So when they say things like that, I kind of brush it off. And
well, good for you.
It took me a long time. It took me a long time. But nowadays I'm just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You've never served. So thank you very much. So I went to school in Michigan, and they were not very coherent with VA benefits. And I found out, I went there for 2 years, got my associate's degree. I found out that the school was charging the VA out-of-state tuition. And so it was kind of a mess. And I actually went to the VA and got an advocate because I didn't know how to handle it.
And what year was this?
This was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
2010
So
is when I started. So
They were
2000.
charging more to get more money.
Correct. And I, every time I enrolled, they kept on telling me, oh, this is wrong. And then I'd have to deal with the VA. And so I know that's not female, strictly a female issue. And I did.
That seems like the college issue.
Well, and
They can get the money from the government, so they're going to milk it for all they can.
exactly. So it's hard when you have to go through things that you don't expect to go through, because you're thinking, oh, I have the GI Bill, I'm ready to go to school, everything should be set in a certain way. And so I had to jump through a lot of hoops. And I actually, the dean, I had a conversation with the dean with my advocates, and they got taken off of the military friendly school list because of what I went through. And it's hard because, people, they get sick of it and they don't want to go through with it because it's exhausting. So, and then I transitioned into the workforce, the civilian workforce, which I actually worked for the state police undercover narcotics department. So it wasn't exactly a 9-to-5 desk job per se. It dealt with a lot of different things, but
Sounds very interesting though.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Narcos. No.
Yeah. I mean, I was an office manager, but I, worked, it was kind of a transition from working with military to officers, because they kind of have similar attributes and skills, and, they're a lot more understanding. So I was thankful to have that job. So in that whole transformation or transition, I dealt with going to the VA for health care, and I never went to. I don't even think they had the women's health specifically when I started going
Not
to the
in
VA.
2010.
Exactly.
They didn't have women's clinics.
Exactly.
Like, everywhere,
Yeah.
like how they do now.
Exactly. So that's a big push. I definitely think that's huge. So no, I dealt with I was married when I was in the military, and when I got out, they didn't change my name in the VA. And I said, I've been married for, almost 2 years. My name shouldn't change. So then, long story short, and in that area of Michigan, it's not a high population of veterans. So we moved, my ex-husband got transferred down to Virginia Beach or Norfolk. And so I moved down there, and it was more of a military friendly town, obviously, because the biggest base for the Navy. So I've dealt with the VA there, and I thought, okay, they should probably have their stuff together more than maybe where I was coming from. Same thing, didn't change my name. And I said, I'm married, damn it. I've been married at that time, almost 7 years, and I said, my name is this.
Listen,
And
the VA just changed my name. I've been married for 10
Right.
years. I've
Right.
been out of active duty since 2010. Like
Exactly.
the VA just changed it.
Exactly. Well, my experience with that is that I actually, third time I went, and I sat down on the ground, and the security guard had to come over and watch me. And I said, I'm not leaving until someone from upstairs comes down and explains to me why my information is not correct. I've given you my social security card, my children's social security cards for dependents. I mean, it's kind of a scary thought of if your information is being stolen, which they've had that happen at the VA before. So I staged a little sit-in, and I just was so fed up with it, and nobody wanted to take me seriously until someone from upstairs came downstairs, and I sat there for probably 3 hours, and she was not happy with me. And what do you want me to do? I said, I've been married. I've moved 3 different states. This is ridiculous. Where is my stuff? So I made her write out a letter, sign it, date it. And 2 days later, my name was changed on all of my information. But that I had to literally sit down on the ground at the VA on the floor and have the security guard stand there with me.
Right.
So after that happened, I actually went to a psychiatrist. So I would like to talk about the mental health care at the VA, which kind of preludes into the homelessness aspect. I've been seeing the same mental health care provider for 6 years now. She referred me to a PTSD specialist and transition specialist. I had already been out 5 years at that, or 6 years at that time. So I went to see this woman. Well, I called her first and she said, "You don't belong here." I said, "I'm sorry, what do you mean? I was referred here." And she said, "No, this is for people with PTSD." I was taken aback.
Is that because you're a woman?
I
Women
mean,
can't have PTSD?
she didn't say that, but that's kind of where it was leading.
That doesn't
So,
make any sense.
Yeah, women don't have PTSD, right?
absolutely. That's what she was basically telling me. And so I had to call my therapist, my psychiatrist back and say, "Hey, this woman didn't treat me right. I'm really confused because you referred me." So she called her back and said, "No, you're going to take her. You're going to do the appointment." Well, she scheduled an appointment at 7:30 in the morning before the office even opened. And I told her I couldn't do 7:30 because I had, my daughter was like 2 at the time, not even 2. And I said, I'll have to bring my daughter. So I had to bring my daughter. Well, I felt so uncomfortable. She made an appointment for me before the opening hours, because she didn't want me to be around anybody else. She didn't want me to be a part of the groups.
Did she give you a reason why?
Nope, not at all. I went into her office and she said, "I'm really confused on why you're sitting in my office." And I said, "Me too. And why you're treating me like this." I ended up leaving crying. I told her, I said, "This is really uncomfortable. This is very inappropriate. This is wrong. I'm a disabled veteran. I am diagnosed with these things. You are not treating our veterans right." I got up and walked out and I cried. I mean, you don't expect that.
And that's
from
why it's so
help.
hard to get help, because then you get deterred from somebody who's supposed to help you.
I was very
You know?
discouraged. I was
Mhm.
very discouraged because I thought, I'm asking for help. I'm asking for help. Isn't that what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
And lo and behold, she did not want to help me. And so I went back to the psychiatrist and told her what happened. And that woman actually ended up getting reprimanded. You know, when those things happen, I follow through, just like with the sit-in, just with I get fed up, I get exhausted, just like everybody else. And I tell people, you know, if you don't ask the right questions to the right people at the right time, you're not going to get the right answer with the VA. And
Yeah.
so
And that's unfortunate.
right.
Yeah,
And
it should be the same for everybody, but it's not.
no,
It's like
and I really felt like it was because I was a woman, and I would rarely say something like that, but in that instance, it was. So fast forward to 2 years ago, I was in a very toxic relationship with somebody, and he kicked me out of his house. I had nowhere to go. And this is where the homelessness comes in. I called the hotlines for the VA. I went to the medical office and asked for help. I asked my psychiatrist for help. I didn't know what to do. I even went to the YWCA. I couldn't believe the lack of resources and support for female veterans. Especially, I have 2 children. So when I have nowhere to go, my options were at the time to give up custody and go to a shelter, or fight and try to get help. And
No,
that
you
is-
couldn't go to a shelter because you had children.
Well, so I come to find out that, yes, there's very special circumstances where they allow people with children, and it's very rare, actually. So
Like
I
even
own-
if you're in an abusive relationship and
Correct.
it's toxic and you're
Correct.
a woman
Yes.
disabled veteran
Correct.
and you have small children, nobody's going to take you in.
Nope, they wouldn't. And I called numerous amounts of VA, and I have, I mean, pages and pages of documentation of the numbers I called, the people I called, the names, the times. I wrote down every single bit
Are
of
you
information.
in like a city area now or what?
This was in the Virginia Beach area.
I'm surprised because we have homeless shelters here for
Yeah,
females.
but do they take women with children?
So
Yeah,
homeless,
for
the
women.
homeless
Yeah.
shelters,
And in Utah as well, we had homeless, but maybe it depends on where you're at.
I think it was per circumstance.
Oh.
I had a job, or no, I guess I didn't have a job at that time. I was looking for a job. I was told you can go stay with a friend. You can, I mean, it was kind of shocking, the things that I was being told.
Yeah.
And I just thought, what do I need to do? You know, I'm not on drugs. I'm not, you know, doing prostitution. I'm not doing, I mean, yes, I'm healthy. Yes, I'm in and out of jobs. You know, I have children. And the last thing I got from the VA was, you need a referral to go to this shelter. And I said, well, when am I going to get a referral for that? Because I'm homeless now. I'm homeless today. How am I going to get that?
You gotta go through this whole bureaucracy of them getting everything approved, and by the time
Correct.
it's approved, it's like 3 to 6 months later.
Correct.
Like, so what are you doing between those 3 to 6 months? And that's like one of the faults in the system, especially with women's veterans homelessness.
Because you're
Yeah.
homeless now, you're not homeless in 3 to
Yeah.
And I did. I drove to the every office I could go to because I had nothing else to do. You know, I begged and pleaded. And I went back to my psychiatrist and I told her everything. And I said, I'm really disappointed in the VA homelessness shelter situation for females, because we need somewhere safe to go. We need the ability to be able to go somewhere now, go somewhere tonight.
Right.
If
So
we're leaving an abusive,
how were you able to get out of that situation eventually?
so I actually, after the psychiatrist told me that I should call the news channel for help, I thought, wow, I have to take this into my own hands. Obviously, I'm not getting help. So I actually ended up asking a friend to help, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't the best situation, but this person helped me find somewhere decent for my kids and I to live, and it was the quickest option I had. And it wasn't the best option. It was not, and I will tell you that. And I would hate for anyone else to have to go through what I went through. And if it wasn't for that friend, I'd who knows where I'd be right now. And I ended up getting a job, and it's just, it hurt me. And I'm very strong, and I've gone through the loops and the hoops and everything with the VA. And I can only imagine what other women are going through who don't know the loops and the hoops. So I got out of it, and I know it's a passion of mine to help other female veterans, whether it's talking about it or direct contact, anything, because it is a huge problem and it is on the rise. So that's just my personal story. It's kind of a hard one, but I'm stronger every day because of it, and that's kind of my story. That's it.
What are two takeaways that you get from your whole experience, especially with the homelessness? Like, what is something that you would do different, or that you would advise other women that are probably going through that?
So I would advise other women to not give up. Do whatever it takes to get the help that you need. And sometimes it's sitting on the floor, or, you know, going to the news channels, or because we all have those friends who can help, but they can only help so much, and we understand that. But the other takeaway is getting help from your support system, because there's help out there, especially with friends and family, even if it's out of state. with most veterans, you know, not living in their home state, and just not giving up and pursuing and being persistent and literally showing up every single day, making that phone call every single day. I mean, even if you have to sit out front of the office before hours, after
Right.
hours, and wait for somebody, don't give up. And get your name on a list, because there's always a waiting list, and get it on every single waiting list there is available. You can do it online, you can do it in person, over the phone. So persistence is key.
Persistence, perseverance, and definitely be your own advocate.
Yes.
Well, I just want to thank you for sharing with us your story, especially the homelessness. It kind of like sums up our last 3 episodes and why we're here, to bring those issues to light, because
Yes.
it's not something that you ever think of that'll happen to you, but it can, especially for women's veterans. Like we need to know like what is it that we need to do, which is pretty much be your own advocate.
Yes, I agree with that. Thank you for letting me share.
All right. Well, we're going to kind of switch it up. So Letha, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is Lynn is going to teach us how to do a natural makeup look that would look really good in uniform. And I have no makeup experience. In fact, my friend Sophia had to take me to Ulta today to help me pick out stuff, because I am not a girly girl.
I love it.
And then
Real
my other
quick,
friend, Sarah
Joe
gave-
said it takes courage to be openly honest about that stuff, Katie. So, and then he also said he's not a girly girl either.
a girly girl, Joe. But your wife is a beautiful lady, Joe.
Lady Joe.
Go
ahead, sorry about that.
Mama Joe. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to learning how to do this. Are you a girly girl, Katie? Do you like to do makeup and all that?
Oh, I am such a girly girl now. But I don't wear a lot of makeup. So I literally text Glenn, like, how do I do this? Like randomly. She's always giving me pointers. So
I know Lynn knows the makeup. She always looks really good. So I can't wait to learn
yes.
some stuff.
So when I was in the military, I did do makeup when we were not on deployment. If we were on deployment, probably like the first couple of weeks I'd do it, and then I was over it. And then like no makeup, no shaving, nothing. Like didn't even pluck my eyebrows.
Right.
But what I'm gonna do is kind of like a quick tutorial on how to do natural makeup. And people might wonder, how does this fit into, we're just talking about like all this hard stuff about, women in the military. Well, grooming standards is a big deal. And also being a female in the military, it sometimes takes away from your womanhood. So sometimes you kind of want to feel pretty, in uniform. So that's why we're kind of doing this segment here. Yeah, you kind of want to feel good sometimes. Okay.
I could have swore that our uniform standards in the Air Force back when I was in the early 90s, I could have swore there was a phrase called feminine makeup, make your look.
To make yourself look feminine.
Yeah. So
okay.
like when I was hearing from other people, like my Army friends, they're like, oh, we're not allowed to wear makeup. I'm like, that's so strange. But they may take that out now because it's not PC. So.
Right. So the first thing I'm going to do, and if you guys have it with you, is concealer. So I'm going to be using concealer. I have foundation. I have a bronzer and a highlighter. I also have something for my eyebrows and mascara. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot. Oh, I also have blush.
Right.
So, okay. So for those of you who are going to watch this on YouTube, you can kind of follow along. If you want to go ahead, and if you don't use foundation, that's fine. You can always use a moisturizer. So this is, I have my screen. So this is a moisturizer I use. Let me go ahead and change my screen if I can. If not, then I'm just going to deal with this, which I can't. Oh, well.
What moisturizer is that?
This moisturizer is called Collagen Hydrator. And a matter of fact, when I was in the Navy, I just used lotion.
Yeah.
Just regular lotion.
SPF lotion on.
So we kind of like press for time, but that's okay. I'm going to start off with the concealer, and I'm going to put it on my inner corners of my eyes. The reason why I'm doing that is because that's where the thinnest part of the skin is. And that's kind of like where you get your dark circles. So you're going to want to take your brush and blend it out if you have it.
Which I don't. But,
You know, and if you want to put your hair back, which I didn't do.
That's what I just had to do. Last
yeah,
time-
I had to put mine back.
Okay, Katie did her.
Okay, so, all right. So go ahead and blend that out. And then, so it kind of gives you a brighter look. It kind of makes you feel awake, makes you
Your
look
eyes
awake,
pop.
so makes your eyes pop. Okay, so then after I do that, then I'm just gonna put on, and then depending on where you work, if there's AC, if there's no AC, if you're outside, if you're not outside, you're gonna either want to put foundation or not, because the foundation can get on your collar because of the sweat and stuff. So you don't want to really put too much. So I kind of just dab it on my face like this, very little. So I'm just gonna dab it like that, and then I'm gonna blend it in my whole face. So if you guys want to follow along and do that.
I actually don't use foundation, but
What do
That's
you
fine.
do? I
You don't
got
have to.
nothing. I don't do my makeup very often. I really, really don't.
I got this BB cream stuff today.
That stuff is good.
Oh,
Because
That's
I don't
good.
like foundation because it looks like a mask kind of on me. It doesn't sit good. But the BB cream I like because it's like a lotion and mixed in.
yeah.
And down like this too, or no?
So like I said, you don't have to use foundation. You can use your moisturizer, your BB cream, your lotions. Okay. So after that's blended out, I'm just gonna put back another, put back the color because it's I'm kind of pale. I mean, I know I'm kind of tan already naturally, but
Katie, was that powder that you just showed?
This is my bronzer. It's called Baked Bronzer. It's actually from Forever 21, and I love it so much.
It's called Baked.
Baked Bronzer. Yep.
Okay.
Forever 21. And
Sure.
my,
all right. So
bronzer brush.
Is this the right one?
here's my bronzer. It's from MAC.
That looks similar, right?
So and what I'm gonna do, and then Katie showed me this actually for somebody who doesn't do makeup a lot,
I know.
is you start off from your forehead and you kind of do the number 3. So you're kind of like, it's almost like contouring, but really you're just putting the color back on your face. So it's not so
Well, this-
pale.
That's where it naturally hits your face, the sun.
Right.
So that's where I learned. Only because I would always text Len and ask her about stuff, and she's like, "Go on YouTube and look."
I
So
always
now we have
recommend
one
YouTube for tutorials
veterans.
all the time.
Yes.
That's how I do with my friend Sarah and my friend Sophia. I'm like, okay, what do I do next now? Okay, so
Okay,
I
y'all.
did number 3, and you go just down here, right?
Yes.
I always put
so
some on my
just
neck,
up
but
here
that's not for
on your
uniform.
kind of your cheekbone. If you don't know where on your cheeks to go kind of suck it in right there. And then right here on the line to kind of chisel out your jaw. So once that's done, we're going to take a highlighter. And if you don't have a highlighter, ladies, you can get your eyeshadow palette
Mhm.
and you can take one of these shimmery ones or something like this to use.
What brush
But-
do I use?
The core plate carrier is our
What
What
foundational.
brush does the brush I need to use?
So something like this, or actually you don't even need to use a brush. I'll show you
yeah.
how to do it with your finger. So take your finger right here, because like when you're on deployment, you only have minimal supplies. It's not like you can bring 100 makeup brushes.
And time.
And you only have a little bit of time to get to where you need to go if you even have time to do makeup.
Exactly.
So you kind of dab right here, you know, on your highlighter, and then just dab it on the high points of your cheek. You're just gonna like lightly tap on the high points of your cheek, not
Okay.
too much, and then
Back
blend
towards the
it
eye?
in. Yep, there you go. You see how these are like the high point of your cheek, kind
Okay.
of blend it in. And right here, you can make a C. So you're kind of going around the
Yeah.
eye like that.
Like this.
Okay. And then I kind of put some on my nose at the bridge. Okay. once that is done, you can set your makeup with a powder if you want to. Now, you can use a loose powder, okay, which
I love that
kind of
one.
looks like this, or you can use a pressed powder. And I have this pressed powder here. And
What
so I'm
brand
just
is that?
gonna, it's pressed powder. I'm just gonna loosely set my makeup around my face so
Pressed?
that, because I used liquid,
Okay.
so I just kind of set it around. And then once you're done setting that, oh, I dropped my eyebrow.
Do I go down here too?
Yeah, wherever you put like your foundation or your moisturizer, just set it around. Don't make it too heavy.
Because you see some women, it's like, there's like a line right here.
They don't blend
Yeah,
well
that's
enough.
because they didn't
Is that what
blend.
it is? Okay, because I don't want that one. I want
Yeah,
it
you
to look
just-
natural.
Yeah, you gotta blend it, and you can use your actual tinted powder to blend it in as well if you wanted to. All right, now we're gonna move on to eyebrows. So a lot
Oh,
of
boy.
people,
Yeah.
Katie, how do you do your eyebrows?
She's-
Okay. So this is something I do only if I really go out. But I do the inside, and I don't have a fancy light or microphone. I'm very not professional with all of this stuff, so I don't know if you can tell. But I start here with if I had like a powder, I would try to brush the powder in as well. But it just outlines.
Just lightly, I outline it.
Yeah. And it just gives it a little bit of dark. I don't know if you can really
Yeah,
tell.
it just kind of
Yeah.
fills it in.
And then I use my spoolie. This one is
Mhm.
one I made up. I just made it from an old mascara bottle. And then
then
I
you
just
blend
kind
it
of
in.
brush it to, blend it to make it look more natural like that, if that makes sense. So it
Now,
just gives
Lisa-
me a little more definition,
Yeah.
Right.
not too much.
Now, Lisa, what do you normally do? Because every girl does their eyebrows different.
I don't do my eyebrows.
Do you have a like a clear gel or anything to put on your eyebrows?
Nope, I don't.
Okay. And that's fine. You don't have to if you don't normally, but say if you don't, or if you want to and you ran out of makeup, you can use your
Mhm.
powder and kind of powder that in to fill it in if you wanted to. I'm using this Benefit brow gel, and it kind of makes extra hairs on your brow to make it fill it in and make it thinner. Now, when I was in the military, the thin eyebrows were in, so there was no way I was going to do this. I had right. So I literally just grew out my eyebrows when I got out the Navy, but when I was
Yeah,
in,
like
it was those
The cholo
arched
look?
thin eyebrows.
Was that like the cholo look? Like
The
my
chola
friends-
look, yeah,
My friends would like shave all their whole eyebrow off and then just draw it in.
right. Or I
Oh.
like to say the Pamela Anderson eyebrows, right? They were super
Oh,
thin.
there you go.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Mine have been the same. And Lisa, if you don't do your like I don't do my eyebrows unless I'm going out for more definition on my face. This is my true and tried way, is literally my eyeliner or my eyebrow pencil and then a spoolie.
Oh, I
So
can
you can,
I get them
Yeah.
waxed. I get them waxed, but I
Well,
never
that's-
thought to put it in there.
Okay,
that's
so
just like a simple way too.
after you do your eyebrows, I kind of like to highlight underneath the brow. So
Mhm.
I take a very light color or nude color, and then I just kind of like draw underneath, and then I blend it out. Now, if you don't have a brush, you can use a Q-tip or you can use your finger
I have a little brush.
or whatever brush it comes in. You know, it kind of sometimes it comes with a sponge brush thingy. Yeah, there you go.
So I have a tip for people who do not use makeup a lot, because that's me. I bought a set of brushes that literally say what they're used for on it. They're not the
Oh.
best.
Oh, dude, I need to look. Does mine say?
Yeah,
Where'd
they're
you
not
get
the
it from?
best quality, but they're. I actually got these at TJ Maxx, and I was like, wow, it actually tells you exactly what it does on it.
Mine says that on there too. This says
Yeah,
I got these
I
at
know.
Elf. I got these at Ulta today because I didn't
Listen,
have.
I didn't start using brushes till after I got out the
Right,
Navy, so
exactly,
I just
like-
learned through YouTube
Yeah.
maybe a few years ago. So
This one's
Uh,
ultimate blending. All right. But I just use my concealer brush for my.
So after you do that, now we're going for a natural look and we're gonna kind of make our eyes pop. So I am gonna use, this is Maybelline Colossal Mascara, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my
Yes, you
my
do that.
eyelashes. So I'll show you how I do my eyelashes. I kind of, well, Katie says to curl your lashes first. So if you
So
This one.
into that,
this is especially for if you're active duty military or just transitioning out. If you do not have time to do any eye makeup, you have time to curl, and that will give you a little bit of like
lift.
just a oomph lift
Mhm.
on your eye. So that's my number one tip. If you don't have time, or I always do it before I put the eyeliner or the eye mascara on anyways, but I love this tool.
Hey, Alvarez is watching. Hey, Leslie.
Hey,
So how long do you guys hold it on there? I was always told 10 seconds.
I do about 5 to 10.
yeah, I don't think it really.
But it's funny because I have my eyelash curler, but the pad is missing. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, you can't use
gonna
it.
do that.
And I don't know if you can.
That
really
metal
tell
kind
the
rips out my eyelashes. It catches my eyelashes in. Because I have
So-
kind of long eyelashes, so I have to get like this little plastic kind. It looks like a kitty cat. It's
Yeah.
from Amazon.
If it works, it works.
Some people even heat theirs up. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but I've done it.
You're
Like
not
you
gonna-
heat
on,
it
not
up.
on a ship. You're not
Oh,
gonna do
right.
that.
No, not on a
With a
ship.
hair, with hair blower and stuff, right?
Yeah, like you heat it up because it acts actually like a curling iron, so
They
it'll
have
last a little
on
longer.
Amazon, they have eyelash curling irons.
Yeah, it's crazy
I
what
was
they
like,
have
people
now.
are asking for trouble.
Okay,
know.
so I am using this Colossal Maybelline mascara. It's you can get it at any drugstore, not at you don't have to go to MAC or Ulta to get a really good mascara.
No.
But I look down and I start off at the bottom and I kind of like brush it in, so I kind of wiggle it back and forth,
Wiggle
get
it?
it in there, and then I twist it. You guys, I forgot to do blush. So we'll just do that after this.
I was waiting. That's my favorite thing of all time. I just didn't know if you were gonna do it yet.
Yeah,
You put it on there and then you wiggle it back and forth. That's
Yeah, you
what,
kind of do. You got to start from the base, and then you wiggle it back and forth to kind of get it into the
that's
spoolie.
what I use for eyeliner because it makes it look like your eyes are.
Yeah, and then you kind of roll it up.
I don't
Oh,
even know if you can tell
What
the
about
difference.
rolling it up?
I blink, but everybody does it differently.
Yeah.
So you blink it on?
Yes.
So I was telling Katie that I learned how to do this back in the day on Oprah
Mhm.
on that show before YouTube. And you can do your bottom lashes as well. So it kind of makes your eyes pop.
I really don't know if you can tell on the camera.
And you guys, this segment was supposed to be fun. We were trying to get a guy to get on and call it So Easy a Guy Can Do It, but no guys wanted to come on.
Yeah, see, it does make a difference. Look at it makes because I have
Yeah.
lighter eyelashes. It does make my eyelash, and I get like a brown black mascara because
Yeah,
black is just too dark. for
that's
me.
Maybelline too, isn't it?
Yeah, I stick with old school. I usually like to do
Mhm.
like eco-friendly, animal-friendly stuff, but none of that stuff would just like burn my eyes. This is the only thing that's like old school. This or
I-
the Trésor is really good.
I actually like right now. This is like
Hi, Linda. She says
Good
hi,
job,
ladies.
Hey,
I.
what do you have?
Linda.
Green, what's your green one that you have there?
So this is just my basic one that I use for like an everyday. It's a CoverGirl Lump Crusher, whatever that means. But I also use brown. I was told that if you have blue eyes, the brown will make it pop more than the black actually. So I use brown eyeliner and black brown mascara. But I like Better Than Sex. I think that's Benefit. Better Than Sex.
Yeah,
they
I
have the
think that's Benefit.
waterproof kind, and then I also use every once in a while. It's called Blink, BLINQ, and it's latex, so it actually comes off. It's very easy to clean. So that would be a good one for women on deployment, actually.
I used to use this one called Hard Candy, and it was called Lash
That's a good one.
Lash dye. And at the beginning of the week, I would put it on like on a Sunday and it would last,
Right?
but they got rid of it for some reason. So it would basically temporarily dye your eyelashes for the week.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. Also, another tip is once your mascara kind of dries, you can put another layer on top to make it a little bit thicker, if you like that thicker look on there. Okay, then lastly, we're going to finish it off with some blush since I forgot to do that. So you're going to take your blush
what's
and your
the blush
brush.
you use?
I have this blush from Revolution, and I got it from Ulta. So you're just gonna-
mine is Paula Dorf, and I have a Paula Dorf blush brush, but this is super old, and I think they discontinued it, but I love it so much.
I'm looking for one that would work. This is Stipple, but I don't know if that would work.
So I have my
could be an
brushes
angled-
from MAC, and I just
Yeah.
asked them for.
Make it an angle. Okay, let me look for an angled brush.
Mhm.
All right.
Slightly angled, I should say.
Katie's favorite.
And you put it
It
on.
is.
the
You're,
upper
so
cheek.
some people just like to draw a circle around the like the high cheek area, and then like just swoop it that way, kind of like that,
Okay.
and then just
And-
very lightly, so it's not too much. But then I also like to blend it in the rest of my face because I'm extra.
Right, exactly. And I love heavier blush because that's something that I would just wear blush just because it gives my face just a little bit of definition. But my mom taught me the whole trick where you suck in,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's kind of where and then you smile, and that's where you
Mhm.
do the circles.
The circle right there.
The apple
Smile, circles, and then
Only when you're in the Navy, you're doing it in what we call the head, the bathroom, full of like 20 other women trying to squeeze in.
and fluorescent lighting.
Oh yeah.
And the
not very
mirrors
good.
aren't really mirrors, so yeah, you try your best,
All right.
Voila.
Okay, so this is the look for what I would do in uniform, just a natural look. What do you ladies think?
I think it's easy and totally doable for
Ooh, Lisa
anyone.
did something that I forgot, which is a chapstick or just like a nude or skin colored lipstick. So I just do chapstick,
That will complete
it.
your look, ladies.
and that completes your look.
I love it. It was so simple. Now I know some tricks. The
Yeah.
3 trick.
So, and then you can use this for everyday makeup, and then especially when you're in uniform and it's a hot day, you didn't put too much liquid on, so you don't
Right.
have to worry about it going down on your collar. Because I remember, ladies, our collars like would get all messed up.
You do not want to get it on your
Mm-mm.
collar because it does not look good.
And it doesn't come off that easy.
Okay. And then just we remember we talked about grooming standards for the hair, how it kind of changed. So then I would just do a part in the middle, kind of brush it back, and then now we can just ponytail it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
the ponytail's
ponytail
awesome.
it.
And we all have
Here's-
very different hair, so it actually is a good, like mine is super curly and poofy. So I don't think, especially at this length, I couldn't do a ponytail, but I always, I rarely brush my hair because it is curly, but that's what mine would kind of look like, which is not really a very nice looking ponytail, but
It doesn't
I
look very
always,
smart,
I like the
what?
better. I like the
right?
word
They
better.
say, oh, you need to look smart in uniform. That doesn't look smart.
No, it does not. It looks like there's a raccoon on the back of my head. So that's how I do mine. And that way it's a little cleaner looking.
Oh, wow, you got it up nice there. So you don't do the sock bun? I've noticed a lot of women in
Oh, I
the
used
put
to.
that hairnet thing in there, the sock
Yeah,
thing.
the
Yeah.
sock bun definitely. And when the hair standards were not as lax, we would definitely spend a lot more time on our hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it, slick it back and everything like that. So
And I like the other thing for another tip for anyone in the military. If you have hair like mine or I guess any hair really, I always put my hair back in a ponytail before I put my cover on, before I put my hat on.
oh, yeah.
And then that way you get it exactly through the hole and where you want it to go. and then I would do the bun and put it
Yeah,
up.
put your hat and then put the bun.
Then do the bun, yeah, or the ponytail.
Sometimes you
but
do
yeah.
the bun and then you go to put your hat on and you're
And
like,
it doesn't fit,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah.
All right, so everybody's makeup looks great. I hope that was a simple tutorial. I know it kind of made everything a little bit light and a little bit better. Lita, is there anything else that you would like to talk about for this show?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the Veterans Homeless Resources. I think Christopher's going to put it on the screen for us.
Mhm.
Also, I'm going to mirror what Katie said. Be your own advocate. If it's something you really believe in, keep bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. And don't be afraid to ask other veterans who've been there what they did for their resources. Find a mentor, find someone who's been there. They're going to help you more, like, hey, if you say this or you do this, you're more likely to get resources.
And this is a great opportunity too, this show, this podcast, this, you know, this is a great resource where you have real people who, you've heard my story, reach out to me, reach out to the, you know, Veterans Trash Talk, the Throat Punch Monday, reach out, because we are all here to help no matter what it is. And if we can't help, we'll find someone who will. So I love this avenue for people too.
Yeah, go on the board. People have gone on before and said, hey, I'm in this area and I need help with this. And people have stepped up and said, hey, call this number, or call that number, or here's the food pantry, or what can we do?
Yep.
Right.
That's what we're there for.
And you guys, we are our biggest resources.
Mhm.
Veterans helping veterans is the big, like a big deal. And that's
Mhm.
why our community is so important to have each other. Veterans Trash Talk, our group, and there's other groups out there on Facebook or whatever platform you use. Reach out to somebody. I think the number one takeaway also from this is to let your pride go. You know, if
Yes.
you need help, reach out and ask. Because you find yourselves in those situations where you can't do it by yourself. And being in the military, it showed you how a teamwork really helps you get to where you need to be, you know?
Mhm.
So ask for that help, be your own advocate. So that's my takeaway from this. Any closing remarks, Lita?
Yeah, don't forget to check out veterantrashtalk.com, and then that'll help you find us on Facebook. We have a great group. Come and join in. If you want to see anything that you'd like to see on the show, or leave us any comments or feedback, feel free to let us know.
Yeah. VTT Official is a group, so go ahead and join that. Katie?
Thank you so much, ladies, for having me on. Thank you
Thanks
for letting
coming
me
on.
And we are
show
so
my
appreciative.
story.
Yeah,
We're so appreciative of you. It's
too.
so brave, and your
Yeah.
courageousness to share your story. We're
yeah.
so happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, remember, women, you are 10% of the 10%. Don't let anyone tell you because you're a woman that your service wasn't as hard or as important. We are your voice and you will be heard. Thanks so much for tuning in with us at Throat Punch Mondays, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, and don't forget about 4th of July t-shirts are on sale on
yep,
btt.com.
VTT.com, guys.
I need
4th of
one.
July. All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.